In a quiet Ohio courtroom, 20-year-old Brooke Skylar Richardson stood trembling as the jury returned. Cameras caught her tears, and the silence was heavy. What began in a bathroom in Carlisle, Ohio, had ended here, in front of a judge, a jury, and the world. It began in May 2017, just 2 days after going to her high school's farewell party. 18-year-old Skylar gave birth in secret. She was alone in the bathroom of her parents' house when she delivered a baby girl.
It started in May 2017, when police found human remains buried in the backyard of a house in Carlisle, Ohio. What they discovered would lead them to a high school cheerleader who had kept the darkest secret imaginable. Skylar Richardson had given birth in secret, and according to prosecutors, she had murdered her newborn daughter and buried her body behind her family home. But here's where this case gets complicated. Skylar didn't just hide a pregnancy for months. She went to prom while pregnant. She posed for pictures, danced, and smiled like any other teenager celebrating the end of high school. 2 days later, she gave birth alone in her bathroom, in the middle of the night. The investigation began when Skylar's doctor received a concerning phone call. She had been to see Dr. Casey Boyce about getting birth control.
Scared and unsure what to do, she buried the child in the backyard and gave her the name Annabelle. The truth came out a couple of months later. When Skylar visited her doctor for a follow-up, he asked about the pregnancy and grew concerned. He contacted the police, and soon investigators were at the Richardson home. In July 2017, officers searched the backyard. And uncovered the tiny remains of her baby, who was later confirmed to be fathered by her boyfriend, Brandon Saylor. Skylar sat down with investigators. In hours of questioning, she admitted burying the baby, but struggled through their pressing questions about what had really happened that night. 2 years later, in 2019, the case went to trial. Skylar faced the most serious charges possible. Aggravated murder, involuntary manslaughter, child endangerment, tamper with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. If the jury sided with the state, she could have spent her life behind bars. Prosecutors claimed the baby was born alive and that Skylar killed her to protect her image. Pointing to police interviews and text messages.
The general allegations against her are that she did give birth to a newborn infant. She caused the death of that infant, burned the infant, and buried the infant.
The defense argued there was no proof the baby ever took a breath, saying Skylar was a frightened teen with health struggles who buried a stillborn in panic.
He was trying to say that Skylar Richardson was a cold-blooded killer. And it's quite a leap once all the evidence is in.
Judge Donald Oda, too, noted the jury had cleared Skylar of the most serious charges.
All right, ma'am, has the jury reached a verdict in the case?
We have. I can see the juror with the envelope, and I'm like thinking that's my daughter's life. And I mean, I am just praying, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
We, the jury in the above captioned case, find the defendant, Brooke Skylar Richardson, not guilty of the offense of aggravated murder.
Not guilty.
But found her guilty of abuse of a corpse. He said her actions still showed a lack of responsibility and sentenced her to 3 years of probation with credit for time served.
Following the verdict.
In the end, the case of Brooke Skylar Richardson leaves behind more questions and answers, but one truth remains clear. Every choice carries consequences, and some can never be undone.